Hey guys, this is Tim at Tyke's Best Friend. I'm going to try a video blog, see what happens. Today, we're going to talk just a little bit about loving our wives. Yes, this literally is to the guys who might see this. First, I'm going to start off with a story. This is a true story. It's an experience that I had. So while I was at seminary, living in an apartment complex outside of town, there were two young ladies that lived next door. They were also master's students of the same university that I was at. And I was speaking with one of them. I'm going to call her Joni. That wasn't her name. She was complaining that there were no guys to date. And she was having a problem. She wanted to be in a relationship with somebody, but she couldn't find anyone. So I offered to find someone for her out of one of the guys that I knew out of the seminary. They'd be good guys. They'd be guys that she could trust. Well, she looked at me and she said, "There is no way that I will date one of those preacher boys." I was surprised. And after a while I asked her what the problem was. And she said, "Tim, my father is a pastor. He pastors a large church." She even mentioned the city. He is seen, she said, as a very successful pastor. Some people even think he was a successful father because he gave up meetings to be at my events, she said. But when it comes to being a husband, he failed my mother. He wouldn't give up anything for her. And these are my own words, not hers, guys. He sacrificed the relationship with his wife upon the altar of the church and that of his child. She went on to say, "There is no way I would marry someone like that. If I'm going to marry someone, then they are going to love me with all that they are, and I will not take second or third place in their life below work." That was really hard to hear because, believe me, I knew this pastor, not personally, but he was held up within the denomination I'm in as a success. And guys, I'm here to tell you, he wasn't a success. He failed at the most important thing, that of being a good husband. Notice, he even failed at being a good father. Not because he didn't go to her events, but because he portrayed the type of person that she in no way, shape, form, or fashion wanted to find in another man. How debilitating is that to our ego as men, that our daughters would look at us and say, "There's no way I would want to be with someone that's like my dad." Scripture says in Ephesians 5, starting in verse 25, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless." Notice it says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church." If you know anything about Jesus, he sacrificed himself for the church, for you and me who self-identify as Christians. If we are to love our wives as Christ loved the church, it's not speaking of affection, it's not speaking of feeling. Instead, it is about sacrificially living our lives for them. Spending all day at work and half the night is not living sacrificially for our wives. Spending time with them, helping them, learning their love language, being there for them, that's the sacrifice. Guys, we need to love our wives. And it might be a hard thing to hear and a hard thing for me to say, but I wonder if in failing with family, if in some sense we don't fail at life. I hope you do something with that. I hope you stew over it a little bit. In the end, I hope you do something positive. Thanks for listening. This is Tim at Tyke's Best Friend.